Just for the record, I'm wearing a shirt, tube top. I'm clothed, okay? Before we begin the video, quick reminder, I got my subscriber contest going and all you have to do to enter is subscribe. I'm going for big numbers here. Okay, big to me. I'm not PewDiePie. I'm going for big numbers for me. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers / followers on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, all at the Ebony Otaku. So if you just follow, subscribe on those platforms, once they all reach 500, I'm going to choose out of those followers 3 winners and give out nice nerdy prizes. And because I'm going for big numbers, that's why I'm going to pick 3 winners and not just one. But you must have a continental US mailing address because international shipping is a little outside of my budget. But I do hope you will be a part of the Ebony Otaku family. Thanks, friends. This is the funniest show I have watched in recent memory. Okay, so Netflix original movies, not really into, but they do pretty good in the anime that they produce or bring over to their platform. And this is one of, I'm not even gonna call it a hidden gem. Well, maybe it is, because at least on my Netflix account, I was like, hey, you need to watch this. You need to watch this. It is absolutely hilarious. I'm not a huge fan of comedy, but anime comedy, I can totally get behind. So let's talk about Way of the House Husband. Can't even talk about it without laughing. Okay. I'm gonna get through this. I'm going to get through this. So, The Way of the House Husband is about a Yakuza boss who abandons that life. And in context of the show, we don't know why, but he abandons that life, meets a nice businesswoman who's got a career, nice professional young lady named Miku. They get married. She goes off to work, and this Yakuza boss, who's like the strongest, can get you. Like best fighter, fiercest, like took down a whole gang on his own, decides to be a house husband. Okay, so before we get too deep into this, it's a comedy. Please don't get triggered by domestic roles and stuff like that. We also have to remember that this is media from another country. And, you know, in a lot of countries, gender roles are still very well defined. And flipping those or inverting them makes for great comedy. And not just great comedy, just insight into life. So just come along for the fun ride, all right? No weirdness in the comments. In The Way of the House Husband, we meet Tatsu. And at first, we just meet him as this very strong, intimidating man who wears an apron with a puppy dog on it, can cook anything, keeps the house immaculate, and makes sure his wife gets her lunch as she runs out the front door. Basically, he does all the things your standard housewife would do. And somehow he's better at it than all the housewives. I mean, he reads all the magazines, he clips the coupons, he rides his bicycle to the grocery store. It's adorable. And his wife, Miku, she's a career woman. You know, he takes care of her. So it's a complete role reversal type of situation. This is where it gets really interesting and stays hilarious and entertaining. Even though he's being a total house husband and doing all the domestic work, he still retains that Yakuza personality. So let's back up a little bit and talk about Tatsu. Throughout this very short show, I guess, spoiler warning now, mild spoiler warning. It's only 5 episodes. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. That's just not fair. Go watch it right now before I spoil it. But Tatsu, as we learn throughout these 5 short episodes, he was a big gang boss. He was called the Immortal Dragon. And right before he left the gangster world of being a Yakuza, he physically decimated the ranks of a rival gang. Like that, yeah. And he did it barehanded. He didn't use weapons. He did it with his fists. Like, he's that kind of strong. Like, the kind of person, you better hope they have that Zen calm, because if you tap them on the shoulder at the wrong time, you know, wrong time of day, wrong moment, you know, they go flip you over their shoulder. Like, he's that kind of scary strong. And he's an intense personality. Now, I don't know anything about the world of Yakuza and gang life. It's just not my bag. But what I gather from the show is he's that way because to rise in the ranks of the Yakuza, you have to be intense. You have to be alert. You have to pay attention to everything. Attention to detail is everything. And what's interesting is because he's that intense of a personality, being a former gangster, he takes that into his house husband life. So the way that he would go and attack a rival gang, he will attack that sale rack down at the grocery store. I'm so sorry. He will attack that sale rack. He's going to clip his coupons. And don't you dare knock his coupon bag off his shoulder while he's riding down the street on his bicycle. He's not interested in anything you got to say because he's got a dinner to make for his woman when she gets home. Because he's so intense, he tends to overdo a lot of things. You know, there's cleaning your house, and then there's cleaning your house. And he's that type that obsessively keeps the house clean. Like he buys a Roomba at one point to make sure all the dirt is always up. He has a list of chores he does every single day. He's polishing. He makes food from scratch. Like he can literally do all the things. But then it kind of makes sense that he's this capable as a house husband because you don't become number one feared immortal dragon by not being pretty amazing. And what's really interesting is because he was so high up in the ranks, as he just tries to go about his irregular life, people recognize him. Which I'm just kind of like, when you get to those points in the show where he's like at the market, at the mall, riding down the street on his bicycle, and other gangsters are like, oh, there's the immortal dragon. Like, they're all at the shops too. It seems like all the gangsters in this series are tired of being gangsters and they want to go and have a regular life. And as he encounters them, and at first it looks like it's going to be a fight, but then they realize, oh, he's changed. There's no point in fighting him. One, we lose. And then two, he's changed. He's he's living his best life right now in the way of the house husband. And some of these men actually ask for pointers on how they can do their lives differently. Am I explaining this well? I don't know. What's really interesting about the show, other than the fact it's just preposterous and hilarious, what's interesting is seeing that if you change your life, that doesn't mean you have to change who you are. He's a gangster. He's tough. He's as strong as men get. He's very calculating. He's exact in everything that he does. He's intense in everything that he does. And he didn't stop being that way because he got married. He's still that way. And he kind of married a woman who balances him out, and her family balances him out. When he goes shopping, when he's making a new dish, when he's trying to make his wife happy, all of that intensity that went into running a gang, he's focused it on the woman he loves and their life together and their home together, the family they have, being a part of this little community. Like all the other housewives in the neighborhood have accepted him as a housewife. It is absolutely adorable. Like he goes to exercise class with them and is in there with these women doing Zumba like he is a woman. You know, it's so precious. But you don't have to change who you are to have a different life. And everyone has redeemable qualities. Now, it's played for laughs, but let's be real. As a gang boss, he did some things that shall remain unsaid in this video. But he's done some things, some bad things, and is living a completely different life now, where he doesn't have a desire to do bad things. All of his love and intensity is focused on his wife and his home. He's still himself. He just is himself in a different situation. And you know what? That's oddly inspiring. Just be you. Who you are is wonderful. If you go into a different situation in life and people are asking you to change who you are for their situation, that may not be a place you want to be. Now, to be fair, there is a big difference between being you and being obnoxious. Those are not the same thing. The myriad personalities and intensities we have about ourselves. You know, we're one large body. And every part of the body has a part to play. Play your part, be who you are, love who you are. I think that's the message they're trying to get across in this anime, other than being hilarious. Be who you are, regardless of the life situation you find yourself in, because there's not another you. There's not going to be another person like you. You're the only one of you to ever exist. So if you're going to be you, be all of you, regardless of the circumstances. There's not some huge overarching plot in this anime. Yes, he encounters people from his former gang life once in a while. Nothing really comes of that other than they exist too, and they're all leading rather mundane lives now. It's a slice of life anime, and it's just a picture of a life reborn, that people can change, that life can be different if you choose for it to be different, and just a good laugh between a husband and a wife trying to get to know one another early in their marriage, because obviously she's the girl who saved him out of gang life, so Miku is something special, and if she can save the immortal dragon out of gang life, I would wager she's 10 times fiercer than he is. So it's just an interesting watch, and you can watch it in an afternoon. It's only 2 hours worth of watching, so go watch it now. Way of the House Husband is on Netflix right now. Highly recommended. It's a quick watch. Go do the thing. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let's talk about it down in the comments.